Good Friday morning. This is Wild and Crazy Natty saying hi and thanks for dropping by. Today we're going to talk about a sensitive issue. When is it the right time to let your hair grow out from whatever tone you chose from the bottle to that natural gray, salt and pepper, or even snow white like mine? I decided to title this video Growing Old Gracefully? Hell no. And here's why. I wondered about who would be interested in this topic, and that led me down the rabbit hole to hours of research and investigation about generations. And I always thought I was a baby boomer, having been born during World War II, but I found out this breakdown, and I'm even older than that. As of 2018, the breakdown by age looks something like this. Baby boomers were born between 1944 and 64. And since I was born in 1943, that puts me out of that generation. And there would be, we in that generation would be between 54 and 74 years old. And there are 76 million people in the US in that baby boomer generation age. Well, then I decided, well, then if I'm not a baby boomer, then what am I? So I found this chart, and it tells me that I am in the silent generation. Well, that does not sound like me. And the silent generation, it says, goes from 1925 to 1945. So, well, I know this for sure. I was an anti-war activist, a pacifist, a feminist, a woman's libber, and a hippie. And I could probably find more adjectives to describe my life back in my early adult years, but these will do for now. I was definitely not in the silent generation. If I were to research all of these generations, this video would be way too long. So let me just ramble on a bit about my thoughts of growing old gracefully. How a woman looks and feels about herself is such an important aspect of growing old gracefully. I was blessed with premature gray hair, taking after my mother, who was completely white before she turned 50. And as you can see in this picture, she was beautiful and had white hair. She was dark brown brunette to begin with, just like me, and she did dye her hair brown for quite a few years. Then at, I think about 55, she let it grow out to this beautiful silver white hair that she has. And those of you who know, my dear mother turned 98 August 17th, and she passed away this past Saturday night. And I'm not going to talk about that, because if I do, I won't be able to control my emotion and finish this video. So my Sunday video actually was a tribute to her. Maybe you can go back and see that one if you want. Well, I had my last child when I was 36, and I had already shown signs of premature gray coming in. And one day when my son was an infant, someone asked me if he was my grandson. OMG. That ended my thoughts of letting my hair grow out or stay gray. Out came the hair dye bottle. Well, 2 marriages later, I was betrothed to a man 8 years younger. And as you can see here, at my wedding picture, my 3 sons were grown men, and my husband was such a supportive, loving person. And he asked me to let my hair grow out the natural color, which I did. And I had to laugh about the same time I asked him how he liked my hair best. And he said, on the second day of a camping trip. Now you can imagine what he meant by that. He was really into natural. Soon after we returned from Maui after our wedding, my husband and I were sitting outside of a coffee shop, and a woman came up and asked if she could share our table. And my husband went in to get our coffee, and she sat down. And I said, yes, we just got back from Maui from our wedding, is how I believe I stated it. And she said, oh, is that your son? So, well, that was devastating again. And I had to go back to the bottle. You know, it was my my source of comfort, and that was 20 years ago. And until I just recently let my hair grow out, I colored my hair again. Well, back to my saga. A couple of years ago, I joined a senior dating site and met a man that didn't totally repulse me, and that's how I judged men at that time. And we dated for a while. And one day, out of the blue, he said to me, I think it would be good if we moved in together. What? I was shocked and wondered where he had gotten the idea that I would even consider that kind of commitment. Well, anyway, right then he went on to say, as he looked me up and down, I don't especially like your body shape, but I'll help you lose weight. OMG again. I could not believe my ears. Well, needless to say, that was the end of that relationship. But I took it hard, and I went off the deep end. I was so incensed that I turned 180 degrees and assumed the stance that if someone didn't like me just the way I am, beyond any skin-deep beauty, then I wanted nothing to do with any man. Well, I let myself go. I stopped watching what I ate, stopped exercising. I let my hair start to grow out the white it was becoming. And I generally entered a weird funk that lasted until I came to grips with the fact that I'm not the cute, petite, perky young woman that I used to be. In fact, I'm none of those things. And I hated my body, and I hated myself. Well, it got so bad during those months, I wrote this piece of prose. I don't want to call it a poem. And I titled it Death Knocks. I quote, the last thing I expected in life was mediocrity. Anything but that. Now, on the waning side of life, I find that I, myself, am ordinary. Oh, where are my hopes? Where are my dreams, my fantasies, that which set me apart from others? Are all my goals fulfilled? Time is but a measure of distance between life and death. Who will remember my name? Who will remember my accomplishments? I have no excuses, no more than any other. Has the constraint of time hampered my achievements? My smile has turned to rivers of dust. My eyes sparkle no more. That enchanting stare is now but a frozen frown, with disappearing pencil-thin lips masking the pain of bone grinding against bone. Where is that flesh that was so bountiful and smooth? Where is the bounce in my step and the grace in my walk? Does my spirit fear what the future has in store? Death knocks at my door and bars no one from answering. I am ready to lie down with my loved ones who have gone before me. Even my children fail to protect me from the stillness of the night and the chill in the air. Fight as they might, nothing prevents the ghost from filling my soul with reverence. 'Tis my destiny to go in peace. The day will come. The day will surely come. Wow. Unquote. Knowing that my own self-concept was so morbid, I finally snapped out of my trance and began to emerge a bit more okay with myself. As you can see, until then I had this photo on my website and all of my thumbnails online. It is how I used to look when I liked myself best. The photo was taken when I was 58 years old. Somehow, I thought I'd always look like that, but I was wrong. Well, back to the topic of letting your hair grow gray. It is a complex concept and action, not easy to execute either. Today, I'm content with my aging self, white-haired self, overweight self, but since I've accepted the fact that I can choose to grow old gracefully and not fight it kicking and screaming, I'm accepting that I'm 75 years old. I was encouraged when I saw that 71-year-old woman compete on America's Got Talent as a ballroom dancer. I related to that, as you can see in this picture, where I was waiting on the sidelines for my turn to compete in a swing dance contest when I was 60 years old. So I knew I had to regain that, that composure and confidence that I'm okay just the way I am. I found that white or silver hair can be really becoming. In fact, so becoming that even younger women who are not gray are choosing to have their hair colored white. That still amazes me. This is a photo of a young woman who chose to have her hair bleached white artificially. Well, here are a couple of photos of cute gray hairstyles that are becoming. Okay, let's just let that phone ring. Forgot to turn it off. So I think these hairstyles are becoming, don't you? It is the transition that is troublesome. And I'll tell you how I went from this photo just before I stopped dyeing my hair to today when I'm totally white. I had white highlights put in my hair at the first, as you see here. That eased me into the all-white look. My last hair color treatment, which was only a few weeks ago, was to bleach it totally out, the last 6 inches of what had turned kind of an ugly yellow straw color to the white that matched the 10 inches of my natural white outgrowth. Well, ta-da! Now I'm white and loving it. I also have recently stopped eating ice cream every day and cookies, and I started a routine of walking, which I had abandoned after that guy intimidated me so grossly about my body. I thought, I'll show him. And that attitude really backfired, but I'm back on track. Well, I hope these words encourage you to get on that bandwagon of growing old gracefully that I fought against for so long, and hopefully you can avoid the treacherous pitfalls that you might face. Well, I do hope that these words and pictures have inspired you to take that leap into au naturel. It might surprise you how beautiful you really are. And thank you for joining me, and may God bless you and keep you safe. Hugs and kisses.